Aloha, everybody. This is podcast number 60. I'm so excited. Okay, we are in the end of January 2021. This podcast is called The Stages of Healing. I look at the different counseling sessions that come up, and when they all seem to be fairly consistent, I think of a podcast that I want to share. So hopefully this helps some of you out there. So I want to say a couple things. One thing, I've been looking at where my downloads are coming from around the world, and I so love to see my European, so many in India, in Australia, in Japan, in China, everywhere. Like, you're just starting to listen, and I love it. I feel wonderful that I could influence and help people out. And some of you have been writing me on YouTube, and I've been answering you back, and I love that. So yeah, any comments or questions you ever have, do contact me. I'm open to that. I love feedback, and I'm out to help the planet as much as I can, one person at a time. Okay, so it is almost the full moon. In Leo, it's our first full moon of 2021. I know some of you may have an aversion to astrology, but some of you don't, and I like the system of patterns helps to bring safety. So understanding things, again, not holding someone or limiting someone to astrology or a pattern, just noticing, does that apply? Okay. Well, full moon in Leo. This is about Leo people with their sun or other aspects in Leo. Those are people that they're the performer. They like being on stage. They like being noticed. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is our life force. It's also, Leo is an element of fire. Fire is for purification or burning through old, outdated beliefs and labels. Hopefully this podcast helps accelerate that for you. The sun feeds us and illuminates that which is dark. We want to bring insight and illumination. I refer to it as having the courage to look under the rug, or at feeling or thinking, noticing what we deny, what's hidden inside, and go there and have the courage to go there. So this podcast is about identifying where you're at in regards to the stages of healing. Having a clear awareness and assessment of knowing where we're at in our process helps us to better understand and have a plan of how to proceed or how to move to the next stage of growth. So the first stage of awareness is, I call it the occasional noticing. So this is where we keep encountering the same challenges, the same conflicts and adversarial situations with different people in our life. It could be as simple as you go to the grocery store and you happen to end up in the line of a cashier that's having a bad day and appears to kind of be mean or short or take it out on you, where you are like, wait, what did I do here? Or you just decide to call a relative or a friend, and you find that you fall into that same pattern where it's the same opposing views, where you end up getting off the call and feeling frustrated or angry. And it's the same old thing. We call this stage occasional awareness. This means when you're not aware, the rest of the time, you're just hooked and you're reacting. And you're like a rat on a wheel, just spinning the same way. You have emotional spin out. There's never resolution. It never changes. And basically, you cannot get solutions at this stage. It's not possible. Even when you occasionally ask yourself, why is this happening again? You're not quite ready to do the real work to find how we can find peace inside, how we could find compromise so that everybody feels heard and their needs get met, and find a solution and a resolution. So basically, what's happening in this stage is your tendency is it's better to stuff the situation, to distract from it when these horrible thoughts or uncomfortable feelings come out. We could drink or work too hard or shut down or drug of something, some denial, or just I've heard clients say, I'm dealing with this. I just deal with my life. And I'd rather help you to not have to deal with your life having all of this drama. We're going to help you get to a better stage than that. So the next stage, the second stage, is that basically it's 100% aware of all the conflicts and oppositions and adversity in your life. Yet you're feeling more like a victim and asking, why me? Why does this always happen to me? So there's a frustration. There's a lot of momentum of an anger, but it's still blocked. So the plus of this stage is your awareness is turned up. So as uncomfortable as it feels, because it feels like there's never a break from the point you're awake, it's just constant spinning of these thoughts and how much shit is going on. But you're able to see these challenges because they're constantly in your face, so there's no escape. So yes, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but you're getting closer to perhaps wanting to have it experienced differently. So this second stage, it could feel exhausting to you and to others that you're around, because they can feel and they could sense the weight and the intensity and the hopelessness that you are feeling 24/7 in your waking state. So often claiming the victim spot, we desperately search for supporters that will enable us and keep us in that space, keep us in that victim space and validating, yes, poor you, why does it always happen to you? So that is not what we want. That is not going to help us in any way. So I don't see that as a positive support system. The third stage, there is a glimmer of light or hope. So you're aware that this belief is draining your life force, like you're just tired. You barely remember the last time you felt safe enough to laugh and be happy and just have a good time that didn't involve alcohol or drugs. It just was such a great moment. So you're aware of, in this stage, that there's so much drama and so much chaos in your life, and you remember, wait a minute, I actually haven't been happy in so long. So you know that there are other ways of being, and you have choices. So this is the stage that I usually meet my clients, and they come to seek counsel because they're ready to say, I realize that when I have a blind spot or when the past wounds are constantly stimulated or being poked by a current circumstance or a person in your life right now, your emotional body, your inner child is seeking help. They're like, this doesn't feel good and I need help. I can't live like this. So you usually come for counseling in that stage and you're open to it because the alternative isn't working. Now, the fourth stage I see as the best of all circumstances. This is after establishing trust and a consistent schedule of weekly counseling sessions. So this is after you've had clients, I've had clients, or they've found a counselor that they've been having regular sessions. And I do recommend once a week on a specific issue. If there's a specific wound of a specific abuse or pain from the past or something that keeps occurring now, I would say that could take, just like the detox process of the physical cells, it takes 30 days to break a pattern. So I like to focus on 4 weeks, once a week for one particular issue. But you'll find, I've had clients that have been with me, they'll stay with me for a couple of years and then I won't see them for 6 months and then another thing comes up and then they're ready to do some more work and it comes back and forth. But knowing that, so finding someone in this 4th stage, so there's trust, there's consistency, and your body is like a child. It likes things that are patterned either way, good or bad. But this is a good thing where it starts to notice if your session is Wednesday at noon, every week, like Tuesday night, you'll start thinking of stuff. And Wednesday, it will get clearer to you. And as soon as your session, your Zoom call begins, you're like, okay, this is what's happening now, because it just wants to rise up and it wants to be looked at and it wants help and guidance. So coming up with specific, so this is my mode of counseling for a lot of my clients out there listening, and again, as you hear my podcasts. So my mode of counseling is my gift of asking specific questions. So first off, I listen deeply, and then I find the questions by the words you have said, and this initiates your own inner wisdom. So in initiating and me stimulating and cultivating and calling out and holding space for your own inner wisdom through these questions, I see you in those moments searching to find the answers, which are often buried feelings or forgotten thoughts or patterns, but ultimately a clear awareness of the need that you had under that activated wound. We come to that through questions. We see the exact core need and how to clearly, I help teach you how to clearly make a request that you personally will become responsible for in meeting that need and in requiring that the same respect from others in your life meet that need. So once you know and commit to meeting your needs, others will follow. This is the law of attraction. Like attracts like. Or they will fall away from your life. And the importance that was previously placed on them before, they may not be a priority anymore. So if they love you and want to interact with you, they will respect your newfound boundaries by hearing and responding to your request. We all want to be seen, heard, and feel safe by getting our core needs met. So I want to give an example of oftentimes when I'm working with a client that has done other counseling with other therapists or at different times in their life, where I said that a lot of people, I've done counseling many times throughout my life. And again, every time I feel a blind spot or I'm stuck or I would need help, I would have gone to a therapist. And I've had many different therapists throughout my life. Yet if I work with someone or get introduced to someone and I could see that they're coming from this weighted acceptance, I've dealt with my past, then I want to help lift that, like we're going to peel a layer off of a belief, of a way of being. And underneath there will be this lightness, this new breath, this new way of responding. I don't want them to get stuck with dealing with their past, because that's not how we heal, by dealing. That means that, okay, this has happened, and I'm angry, and I know not to talk to this person and cut that person out. And all of those things may be necessary for a time or forever, depending on the circumstances. But yet to do it with a lightness, to be able to feel strong enough that your boundaries will be heard. You'll know that you will only surround yourself by people that respect you and that will hear you when you speak and care enough for you that they'll respect your needs. And if not, then that's not going to be your family and the people that you hang out with. So when we get stuck in victim, in I'm a survivor, I don't want to encourage my clients to be a survivor, because that is a significant and very important step of acknowledgement. And I've actually had to take people that have had repressed memories, so they haven't even gotten to the stage of identifying the abuse and the needs that were ignored and how it affected them mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and physically. Some people have chronic illness because of this continual abuse that has happened in their life, that they convinced themselves that this was normal behavior. So I'm not talking about that that's not a significant level, but I don't want you, if I'm working with you, I don't want you to stay in that level. I want you to really look at all sides. I believe every moment of pain we've ever experienced in our life brings with it the opportunity for tremendous teaching, for tremendous growth. And if I'm still looking at a wound that is painful and that's draining to me energetically, then I need more support and guidance to see it from perspectives through the growth of what it had to offer me. Because I didn't get it. I haven't gotten the gem of it yet. I'm still just getting the heaviness, the pain of it. So it's still pain, it's not a teaching. I want you to have the teaching. So, the way that I counsel, my gift is the ability to deeply hear someone, and I will repeat back to them, often exact words that I write down. I'm taking notes while we do our session, and I don't say it right away. I wait for a moment where I could feel there's an energetic space that you could actually hear it, and I'll say it back to them. Because often we say things, and until we hear ourselves, we don't know it to be true. How about that for strange? So we're actually saying it, and we could even say the same thing over and over and over to everyone we meet. But until we consciously hear that, without someone responding and reacting to us, just a clear reflection, when we hear it, it's our own wisdom, then it shifts us. Then we have an understanding, I didn't realize that. And people will say, but you just said it, but I just heard it. So a good counselor is going to hear you and use your words back to you in a way that you can hear it and integrate it. So also, when I listen to a client, I call myself Unconventional Insights, because I'm not your typical PhD psychologist. I am an experiential counselor, life coach that has counseled for over 27 years now, and teaching, and so many things on my path, but now I'm exclusively doing this. So when I listen to a client, I can actually hear and feel. So it's a little bit of an empath, but it's actually a refined listening skill where I could see their blocks and feel their resistances. And I see where on their path, as they're speaking and I hear them, where's their greatest ease? Where is their path of freedom that will bring them most purpose and joy and happiness? So I personally have gone to several counselors, as I said, growing up throughout my life. I started at 16 when my brother was killed, and that was a significant point in my life. But I discovered through having different therapists, male and female, and with different techniques, psychiatrists, psychologists, coaches, like so many different philosophies, that if someone, when I went to a person and they were telling me what I'm doing wrong and telling me what I need to do right, basically, even from 16, I realized that they were claiming my authority. So I didn't know it in those words at the time, but I significantly felt it and had a resistance to that type of counseling. I would say the healthier people, counselors that I found, they help to hear me and bring my own inner awareness there, yet they offer me my own authority. They offer me my own wisdom. So if someone other than me knows what's best for me or how I should be living according to their views and beliefs, I am not authentically walking my own path with my own wisdom. The ultimate counseling and counselor will listen and guide you by your words, by your wants, your needs. We are all our best authority, and learning and trusting our own wisdom is the most invaluable skill we can cultivate throughout our lives, the most invaluable skill. As parents, we do not want our children to be dependent on us so that we personally, so it's a selfing thing, so we feel needed or feel of value. What we want is to show them how to trust themselves, how to tap into their own innate wisdom. A good counselor does the same. I do not want my clients dependent on me so that they can pay me every week. I don't believe in that. I want them to learn to look at all sides of a situation from their own sense of knowingness. And then they make choices that are more and more aligned with who they are and who they are becoming. These choices will alter the course of their life and the outcome of their life. I believe life is short and we do not have to suffer and process all the time. Like the tides of the ocean or our breathing patterns, we have a rhythm of in and out, in and out. Learning to take that sigh and feeling, getting out of our thinking mind and feeling. When I work with a client and they're telling me a story, I don't want the details of the story. I want them to track it in their body. Where are they feeling it? How does their body feel right now? I want them to own their spirit fully in their body, to be present so that they can notice that when it happens in the future. They notice that tightening. They notice that shallow breathing. That becomes their wisdom. That becomes their inner guardian angel, is their own awareness of how their body responds to stress, to circumstances, to certain conflicts. So there are times that we're deep in it. We're processing. We're in the mud. And all we feel is pain. And it feels, even though it may be from the past, that it's happening right now. It's in my face. Now, many people fear going into this pain because they feel they'll get stuck there and never come out. And that's a scary feeling, and I understand that. Yet with proper guidance, what happens is that guide helps you to turn on a light in the darkest of places the feeling of being supported to walk through hell while having your hand held by someone you trust, that someone is compassionate, that they have your highest intentions, your highest good of growth and evolution. That is the whole purpose. There's no self-serving. Now, many people come to a counselor reluctantly. Usually someone in their life gave them an ultimatum or talked them into it, yet they are in stage 1 or 2. Now, if they have no space to hear or to trust someone else with their story, then my perspective of that counseling session, because I have had clients like this that I knew they weren't ready, but again, I give them praise. Good for you for knowing that you need a new perspective, that you want to live differently, that you want to make other choices. I'm hoping they just remember that from the session, is my acknowledgement and praise of them. Because what I've learned is that if it didn't work that time in that session, they will come back in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a few years. Eventually they do come back, or I hear that they found a different type of counselor that they were ready for, and it worked for them. And my main goal is for all of us to feel that freedom, that space, that ease, that happiness in our life, and to understand our processes as we heal. So, when I find someone in that stage 1 or 2 of healing that we were talking about, where they're constantly in drama, or it's occasional, intermittent awareness, just enough to notice the suffering and notice, poor me, why is this happening? What I find is that they are in a loop, that they keep in the session, they keep saying the same thing over and over to me. No matter what I say, they'll say yes, but, and then they'll repeat this loop that consists of their beliefs and strong wants. I've often said, the Buddha says, all suffering is due to one's expectations. Now, these clients in this stage are wanting a behavior from someone else without being willing to look within and change their own behavior. The ego is incessant. It locks onto a belief like a pit bull to an object and refuses to let go. Does that sound like any of us out there at different points in our life? Where it's just so, I'm just holding on no matter what. So stage 3 of healing is when we're so exhausted from our relentless will and our unyielding wants of needing to control another person to get our needs met no matter what, that we finally surrender, usually out of fatigue, and we let go. Now, some of us just let go for a moment until we regain our strength again, and that ego comes back stronger than ever and holds on again like that pit bull. I want them to be this way. I want this to be the person in my life. I want this. I want this behavior, like just suffering. And there are times, because we want what we want, and we'll accept the conflict. We'll say it's tolerable because we feel maybe if we bully someone, they will do what we want, instead of through a mutual agreement of needs met, instead of seeing maybe this isn't a suitable dynamic and I need my needs met. And I cherish myself and respect and boundaries more than a relationship with someone that refuses to hear me. So when we let go totally and deeply with a sincere desire for a new outcome, it will be a feeling of no struggle, of ease, and eventually an opening and softening of our heart and mind. Doesn't that sound just heavenly, like something we really want to live in? I have done so much work on myself, and I will continue to notice when there is anything that is somewhat stuck. And I look at that as an indicator. Ooh, I have something to work on. I get to look at this. I don't want any resistance. I don't want my heart being closed to anything. I want to know clearly that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, but this isn't gonna happen for me, or because of this is how I'm feeling. And I've learned how to speak, and I teach my clients how to speak, how to know their needs and how to speak their needs in a clear way that the people in your life that care about you can hear them. So a beautiful occurrence happened just this past December. So many of my regular clients, I've gotten several new clients this last year in 2020. So for COVID, many people were broken. They were beyond their ability to handle more stress that was happening externally and internally now. So they began referring friends and family members that have had similar wounds of theirs, that when they came to me, they gained insight through my counseling, and they've had a lot of ease. So they started gifting their friends by saying that they would pay for their first session. Now, that started with a client of mine in Hawaii, and I was so impressed with that it was such a beautiful thing. So slowly, in January, they started coming for their sessions with such success that they too have referred someone else and said they will pay for their first session. So my 30 years in Hawaii, again, that is my ohana, that is my heart. It will always be my home of homes, although I love living in Austin, Texas, and I'm fully here. This is my home. Hawaii is my heart. And some of my mainland clients started doing this. One of my clients in Texas did that, where they paid for a session for a friend. And I call that a true pay it forward in the highest way. Like, what an exceptional and thoughtful gift for the recipient to know that you're giving freedom and ease to someone, for the person who gave the gift, like such an honor for that, and then for myself. So I thank all of you out there for your trust and your referrals. It's just beautiful. So when you give that first session, depending on the stage of healing that some of them are in, if they are ready and wish for a better life, and they want to feel fulfilled and happy, this may be their time to do their work. If they need their hand held as they walk through their past into the darkness, I promise we will find their inner knowingness and the light they have inside them together. I always know it's a successful session when I see the client at first come on to their Zoom or their FaceTime or however we're doing this, and I see that they're low energy and they're sad and they're angry and they may look old and tired. And by the end of the session, by the end of that 1 hour of our journey together, they discovered a new perspective, a new understanding, and they smile. And it is so bright and radiating that it's literally their heart is beaming through their face. And I just love that. That's like the greatest reward of all. So if you listen to my podcasts and my words ring true to you, and it may bring you your next catalyst in your stage of healing. If you want to know how to have a session, You can contact me either through email or text. I love comments and questions. Several people have been writing me on YouTube, and I've been answering them. My prices are $100 a session, and I do a sliding scale down to $50. So since COVID started in this last year, I've changed that. So depending on what you can afford, that is fine. I am in the US in Texas Central Time Zone. My email is Samana, Samana, Tiger. I'm giving you a new email, Tiger @yahoo.com, Samana Tiger @yahoo.com. I'm born in the year of the tiger, for any of you into Chinese medicine or Chinese astrology. And my phone number is 808-283-7587, 808-283-7587. My phone is always on silent, so whatever time zone you're calling from or texting from, leave a message or text me and I will get back to you. And thank you for your referrals and for your listening, and many blessings to all of you. And stay healthy, keep masking up, and we will get through this collectively and as a unity. Blessings. Aloha.